The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast live Shock Joxx, episode 77. As you can see, I'm all by myself today with no Hunter Yancey. That's not Hunter unless Hunter's gotten more distinguished, a little more age in him. Hunter's 22. Andy, how long has it been since you've seen 22?
I'm a level 42.
So a good double his life. Makes you feel old seeing some of this stuff, and you know, even some of the comments on the Twitter sphere, and you know, Andy, I like talking about kind of real quick our generation, as far as you know, I was talking with Andre this about the other day about, you know, as far as technology goes, the folks that were born in our age have pretty much hit everything. So you know, I was thinking about my parents. Like, think about this: that they went from watching color TV as kids, or I mean black and white TV, or not even my dad didn't even have TV when he was small. He had to listen to the Cardinals games on the radio. So to go from there to be able to, you can watch the Cardinals games on his phone, and
anywhere in the world,
and he can control a computer that can control his radio station anywhere in the world, and listen to his radio station anywhere in the world. What if you told him that when he was 6? You know, listening to that radio station. Say, son, one day you'll be able to watch the Cardinals on your phone,
no matter where you are, for free, basically for free.
Yeah, if you can figure that out. So, and then I was talking about how, you know, it's been a long time since you know, we got MP3s. I don't know how long ago, and it's been a long time since that's changed. So that's been 20-something years, basically. You know, Napster and all that, hadn't it, when we were in college, basically.
I have websites older than Hunter.
like I told Hunter, I said Magic Johnson's AIDS are older than you. Yeah. That's one of my favorite jokes with him. Like LeBron's 17, he says, what, you're 17?
Yeah.
And you're 22 years old.
Yeah.
Like, just, and so we went from, you know, when we were very small, there was 8 tracks in the cars. I was showing my kids how a record player worked the other day. They loved it. And then you just start, you know, our parents with the record players and everything too, just radio stations. And then now MP3s hadn't really changed 20 years, but you know, the CDs, and then, you know, all the video online and how we do the streaming and everything. It's just weird. Just what do you think our kids or my kids, when you know, they're 6 and 8 now, what are they going to see in 40 years?
It's impossible to guess.
Everything going to be 3D. Their robots going to be doing the show for them while they sit on the couch.
Virtual reality type stuff.
This is crazy.
If I knew, I'd be rich.
Well, they've already got the folks that put the VR stuff on their heads and that feel like they're sitting at the games, got courtside seats.
I would like to try that.
You want to buy those, don't you?
Yes, that looks amazing.
I was wondering if I said I bet Andy would be into.
I'll be all over that.
Sitting at home. I like to see it. I bet it'd be neat, especially if you're going to give me good camera angles,
Yeah.
like you're sitting there at half court.
Yeah, we've treated ourselves to close to courtside tickets a few times, and it's like watching a totally different sport.
Upper deck. I refuse, Andy, to go to a pro game now if I have to sit in the upper deck.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Might as well stay at home.
right, football, especially if you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Now I'll take free tickets and go in the upper deck, but if I'm paying, I'm not paying to sit in the upper deck anymore because, like you said, it's a totally different game. Sitting down there, press row ain't even that good of a seat where I'm at. It's about halfway. It's at the very back at the Hornets games and the Panthers of the lower section. So the lower you go, obviously, totally different game. I have never had 50-yard line seats in the lower deck since the 80s.
Yeah, I've never got close
I've been
to
in
a
the
football game.
I've been in the
Just
end zone a ton. I've been in the 6th row of the end zone. Is about the closest I've been. I've been in the end zone lower section a ton in the corners, but I've never been between the 50s except once. And one reason I'll say this, it was Deion Sanders and the Atlanta Falcons when they still had the red helmets. We went down to Atlanta and see the Cowboys play, and we saw Deion play the Cowboys at Fulton County Stadium when they still had dirt on the field and doing the half and half. It just
20 years ago.
oh, that's 30 years ago, Andy. For the red helmets, that's definitely older than Hunter. That's funny. All right, so well, Hunter's career, life is basically Vince Carter's career.
I saw something on Vince Carter. During his career, he played with or against 44% of all the players that have ever played in the NBA.
Wow. Between him and Kareem, there's only like a 9-year span there between those two? Because Vince came out in 98?
98.
So Kareem retired 89ish, so 9-10 years maybe.
Yeah.
Of those two have played with, and I'm sure they played with
some of the same
people.
Lapped over.
Jordan lapped over with them, but with them both.
44% of all the players that had ever played in the NBA.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Right? I haven't seen that. Well, let's. Andy's here to talk basketball today, folks. It's basketball. It's the most ramped up sport we got going right now. I say that I need to correct myself because Wednesday we'll talk a lot of NASCAR, and then some baseball. But right now we're going to talk basketball today with Andy. We've got NBA today. The schedule today: Bucks and Magic at 1:30, Rockets Thunder at 4, 6:30. The Heat try to sweep the Pacers. And then at 9 o'clock tonight, Showtime and the Blazers at 9 o'clock. I'm going to jump into those predictions real quick. But let's start with those series, and then we'll talk yesterday's and tomorrow's. So let's start 1:30, Andy. Bucks Magic. Bucks favored by 13 on NBA TV. Can the Magic? They stole game one.
I think
is that the only one they get?
I think that's all the Magic had. That was a nice. Steve Clifford. I wish we still had him here in Charlotte. I think he. You know, I thought Clifford was a good coach. He had nothing to work with and still won some games.
I tell you what, I did not like about Clifford. And Borrego gets caught up into it a little bit, and the coach. We're going to talk about in a little bit. The coach for Denver does a lot. They will put these guys on the court for defensive purposes, and the score will be 120 to 120. Like, at some point, that don't really matter. Okay, so like, I was just seeing their lineups. I didn't like their match I didn't like the way Clifford did his lineups with his matchups to where you'd have only one or two guys on the floor at all that you could just give. I know he didn't have much.
That's
and it's we'll go through the draft picks in a minute. The Hornets, they did have Andy though. The Raptors didn't have a single lottery pick last year and won the title. The Hornets had 9 and didn't make the playoffs.
Well, that's
9 lottery picks and did not make the playoffs.
That speaks more of our poor drafting than anything.
Oh, a lot of everything.
Talking about 20 years of poor drafting.
Well, you held on to MKG like almost every player in that draft was traded or moved on 5 years ago. And the Hornets are sitting there holding on to him like, hey, man, we made this number 2 pick. By God,
Next year, his jump shot will be here.
I mean, Andy, like, and people might don't know Andy or don't know myself, but how confident would you be in a game of horse against MKG?
He'd be the one pro I'd give it a shot again.
I mean, Gerald Wallace, I mean, you'd take a shot at him, but MKG, I mean, wouldn't you feel more than 50% confident?
I'd take a shot against MKG. He did hit 2 threes. His first 3 since Kentucky in that playoff game. I think everybody saw it crazy on Facebook. I'm in one of the Hornets groups, and everybody made comments.
Was it really? I didn't.
He did. He made 2
that.
threes. It was unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Like I just can't believe, Andy, that they would pick that jump shot with the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah, sometimes you think you can fix some. Sometimes you just can't fix it. I thought he'd come around. He's still a good defensive role player.
No,
that's not even that.
Even when they were saying he was a good defensive player, I would look up the stats, and he'd be like 23rd in opponents' points per game.
You stick him on the best player, you're gonna get scored on.
That's true, but I mean, like, if you rank all the small forwards, he was ranking like in the 20s.
He had to guard the best guy every night.
Well, they had to guard each other too. Yeah, I was gonna pull up his picture just for. It's just amazing. Dang it.
I like the guy. Jumper just broke.
Broke. Gosh, it never was.
Well,
I don't know how to describe it was broke if it's ever built. I mean, it was. I just. Andy, I mean.
Hey, he can have a long career playing defense.
Here we go.
It's not textbook. It's not.
That's not textbook. What? Where's he shooting the ball? I mean, if you were going to draw a line to where the goal was, where would you put the goal?
His form's not bad. He's just looking the wrong way. He's squared up to the basket.
What's really funny is you're right.
If he
was shooting straight left, that form is good. But he's shooting where I would imagine his eyes are looking right now, and his pinky finger, Andy, is pointing towards the basket.
That's not
on his shooting hand.
Not how you draw it up.
Like I want to look at myself and laugh for a second. His hand is turned this way. How in the world is this going to project a basketball in the right direction to go? I imagine this way. It was like this.
I guess we should just marvel at the fact that he hits any shots.
Thank you. I'll agree with that.
He's more of a dunker.
We should
and layup.
What I'm saying is, Andy, that's not the number 2 pick. What I'm saying, that's more like what, 15, 20, 25. Number 2.
Defensive stopper.
Not number 2. There's a big green plug-in over there on the ground behind you with a red dot on it. Would you mash that button in? I got to get some light on it. If you'll see the camera, if we don't get enough light on it, I'll sit over here and turn orange like Trump over here. I don't have my... There we go. There's a little light on. Still didn't fix it too much. For some reason, this side of the room always looks yellow compared to... Look how, like, you look. Your colors look normal.
I look good.
I look like, I don't know.
You got jaundice.
I've got jaundice. I've got a... Looks like I got the Trump filter on that they use on TV. I don't have any makeup on. I don't get it. It's just like I can look at that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
It shouldn't be. It's always. I don't know. It's weird. I can't never get it right. I've played with the camera, the colors and all that, but it's all right. All right. So that's my MKG. Well, while we're with the Hornets, Andy, let's. Do you want to do the draft first, or do you want to do the playoffs first?
Let's talk about it.
All right. Well, let me go through the Charlotte Hornets draft history for you. If this is so, they picked Kemba Walker in 2011.
That's our only good pick.
Yeah. And what it did, it kept us from making an even better pick the next year.
Is that when was Lillard available?
Yeah, but all right. So 2011 was Kemba Walker. Here we go. You ready? 2012 MKG. Here's the people they passed on. Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Harrison Barnes, Andre Drummond, Draymond Green, Chris Middleton.
Bradley Beal was the safe pick in that.
Probably.
Lillard,
Probably.
coming from
Harrison
small school, you
Barnes,
didn't
maybe.
know.
But if you're looking at MKG and Barnes, how do you talk yourself out of Barnes into MKG? Like, his jump shot is fine. Like,
Barnes, he's a solid player. He's just under 20 a game usually.
about 17, something like that.
Pretty solid. He's no superstar, but
Right.
he's pretty solid.
It's way better than what you got
Yeah.
from MKG. And even if you'd have drafted Barnes, like, hell, don't forget they got one championship in Golden State with him at small forward. Not it wasn't Durant on all of them. So that would have been just way better. Just somebody that could shoot. All right, 2013 with the number 4 overall pick, Cody Zeller.
That was a pretty bad draft all around.
There was nobody, I remember before the draft, that actually thought that was a terrible pick. Like, they were like,
he
who
had
are
a
we
good
going to go
year.
with afterwards? He actually had the highest vertical in the draft. Do you know that?
He had a good season. I mean, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
He had a good season at Indiana.
Now, his hair don't say he's an athlete. He needs to go ahead and just shave it off. Here's who they passed on, though, Andy. Giannis,
Well,
Steven Adams, C.J. McCollum, Trey Burke, and Rudy Gobert. So, like, in 3 straight drafts, they could have went Kemba, Beal, Giannis. Oh, it gets worse. Or I don't know if it get worse, but it just gets more interesting as we go. How about 2014? We drafted Noah Vonleh, then shipped him off,
that was a bust.
and that was part of the working for Nick got Batum in and all that money and everything. So here's who they passed on in 14: Zach LaVine, T.J. Warren, Nurkic, Jokic, Gary Harris, Rodney Hood, Jeremy Grant, and Bogdanovich, the shooter, not the giant. So instead of Vonleh, they could have drafted LaVine, Warren, Nurkic, the Joker, Grant, Rodney Hood, Gary Harris, and Bogdanovich. 2015, Frank Kaminsky, the Tank.
I was wanting Winslow in that draft, although he hasn't done a whole lot either.
Mhm.
I liked him coming out of Duke, but he's kind of been disappointing himself.
It's hard for fans. You look at these mock drafts and they'll say, well, this guy's above this guy, and your team picks this guy, and you're just like, well, did they pick him just because that's what the mock draft told him to do?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you got those two, but you know who went after them? Devin Booker, Miles Turner, Terry Rozier, Josh Richardson. So instead of Kaminsky, they could have had Devin Booker.
That's think about like Kaminsky. He's already been in college 4 years.
Mhm.
If you're good enough, you don't stay in college 4 years.
Well, with that said, what do you think about Obi Toppin then?
I don't. I think he's probably closer to the top than his floor right now.
You think they should draft him at 3
No.
is what I'm asking?
No.
No? We'll get to that in just a minute. We'll go
But
down on
he's
Andy.
only a sophomore.
He's a 4-year. He's
I thought he
22.
was a
He's the
sophomore.
National Player of the Year
And
22.
he's a lot closer to his ceiling than he is.
He's
his floor right
22.
now.
Excuse me.
He'll probably be a solid player, but I won't. We need studs. Not.
We'll
We need somebody who might be a superstar.
Right. All right. So in 2016, they traded for Marco Bellinelli. Woo, good one, guys. Here's who they passed on: Siakam and Malcolm Brogdon. 2017. And now, when I say they passed on these, like, you'll hear 2 guys, like, so that Bellinelli pick was like 22nd or something. So there was
Bellinelli's he's a solid player.
there was 35 picks after that were failures, and 2 of them,
Yeah.
Siakam and Brogdon,
It's
were
a-
good.
it's-
You can't get nothing second round unless
after
you
the
get it
first
right.
10 or so in the draft, it's a crapshoot.
It's almost in the second round, Andy. I would draft nothing but European players because you can stash them like
if they
2
develop
years.
and not have to pay them.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a lot of these guys being picked in the second round. There's a few here and there that are pretty good from America, but I don't know. I like the best foreign player on the board to draft him. He always ends up turning out pretty good. In the second round, I think you can gamble on foreigners. So 2018, they drafted Shea Alexander, then traded him immediately to the pick afterwards for Miles Bridges.
Whoops.
Is that a whoops?
Yeah, Alexander, he's an all-star. He's been an all-star for
Hunter
10 years.
loves Shea Alexander.
He can play.
Yeah. Okay. Now, by drafting either one of those, here's who they passed on: Michael Porter Jr., Giannis's brother. There's the only people they really passed on there.
When that draft was going on, we wanted Porter because we could afford to let him sit out a year and get his back better. He's starting to look. Well, it's been. What year was that? 17, 18.
18.
So it took him 2 years to get into a rotation.
Right.
But he's shown flashes of being really good.
Well, something I said earlier about how Kid Gilchrist and all the other people in their draft. Let's see what year he was drafted. Are on other teams. That was 2012. Let's pull up the 2012 draft real quick and go down that. So NBA draft. So what I was going to say is a lot of these guys that you got to remember what you're touching on with Toppin is how many years until they're really good. And first of all, you drafting kids at 19, you really don't know. Think about, and I like to use Jordan as the example. He spent 3 years at Carolina. So Jordan, his rookie year, came in at 21, average 30? Wasn't 30-something his first year? Then after the second year was 37. So that was at age 22.
I thought it was
23.
Third year. He hurt his second year, wasn't he?
Second year he hurt his, then third year 37. Year. So about at age 24, and I think people's primes, let's see what you think, is about 25 to 35. That's your 10-year window to win as many championships as you can.
I'd drop that top end a little bit. Most people don't play well at 35.
Jordan won at 35.
I know.
This is LeBron's.
You're talking about
year.
The GOATs, though.
I know.
It's the average player, not their peak's going to be
okay.
25 to
even if you want to
30.
drop it a couple years, there's only a window there to have those players from 25 to 30, 33, whatever, however you want to put that. Should the team say, instead of building like if the Hornets go through and drafted all these guys, some guys are going to want to move, somebody's going to leave. Should teams try to make their rosters 25 to 33-year-olds and not worry about anything that age that's younger? Then if you fill in a veteran here and there for a spot in the playoffs,
can't afford to have a team of 25 to 35, 30-years. Everybody's going to be that's their big payday.
That's true too.
A lot of these younger guys come in ready because when Jordan played, there wasn't the AAU circuits and all that. These guys play year round now.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean,
once they're identified, they're getting professional level training from the time they're in high school.
Well, MKG sure as hell didn't. He didn't get one person to tell him, "God, son, what are you doing? What are you aiming? What are you looking at? And what are you aiming at right now when you go up for that jump shot? What's your point of reference?" 2019, this year they drafted P.J. Washington, and they passed on my secret weapon of the playoffs. So the reason I picked this team to win championship, Bobo.
We won both. He was another just take a flyer on him. He's turned out to be he's gonna be solid too. If he can stay healthy.
He killed it during the bubble.
Yeah.
And I want to get into it in just a little bit. I'm pissed about that situation. All right. All right. So if you're keeping score, Andy, if you just pick the best player that you didn't pick in order, let's assume you had the same draft picks. Okay. This is the Hornets lineup. If all they did was make draft picks, not trade anybody, not do anything. 3 guards, you can pick whoever brings it up. I don't give a shit. Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal.
Not enough basketballs going.
Could be your guards. Power forward, Giannis. Center, Jokic.
See, what that means is there's still hope.
Off the bench.
If we can start drafting better, we can get
off the bench. You're 100% right, Andy. Off the bench, Siakam, Devontae Graham, because he was picked second after a first-round pick, so you'd still have him. Michael Porter Jr., and your 9th man. With all of that, Bobo. With all that, your 9th man will be Bobo. So, and like you said, there's still hope, but you got to make the right picks. You can't fuck up.
And I don't know who's dropping the ball or who's been dropping the ball.
It was Cho, and then the guy before him didn't do too good either. I can't remember who was in before Cho, but Kupchak, he ain't picked a star yet.
No.
But
I don't know if he's going to find a superstar in this draft either.
Like how much blame do you put on for not drafting these guys that end up being stars, like how Kawhi escapes everybody to like 15.
I mean, but it's not just us missing on these
No,
people.
well, and Giannis too.
Yeah.
And,
14 other teams missed on those guys.
Yeah. So what do you what do you put the blame on that? Like I said, you're drafting 19-year-olds. You don't know they're going to be good till they're 23 for the most part.
Unless you're drafting top 2 or 3.
Because you're drafting what? Size, length. So to me, as always, I would always tend to lean towards the guys that can already shoot a basketball. Like I feel like I can teach you to play mediocre defense. Like there's going to be help side D, cover the 3, but how much work and time it seems like the people who become really good shooters were already pretty decent shooters coming in, and they just stepped up their game a little bit.
Wasn't a shooter coming out of college and then became a shooter.
I mean, it don't happen much. So I mean, the big guys will improve a lot, maybe trying to stretch their game at the 4s.
That leads into who I want. I want Wiseman.
Why you want James Wiseman?
I want James Wiseman.
Okay, that was not where I was gonna.
Not where you were thinking.
God no. Here's my tweet for what I wanted them to do. Let me find it. So there's if you're keeping score at home, blah blah. How the Hornets gonna mess this up? Yeah, because I know they're gonna mess it up. They always fuck it up. I mean, I just went through 10 years of proof they're gonna fuck it up. All right, here's my do's and don'ts with a number 3 pick for the Charlotte Hornets. Don't trade it unless it's for Steph Curry. It's the only trade I'll accept right now.
That's not gonna happen.
Nobody said that was about the chances. I just said don't do it. Now, what if the Warriors they gotta rebuild sometime, Andy? Speaking of them, do you think they should trade the 2 or offer the 2 for Embiid? And
yes,
would Philadelphia take it?
If I was them, I'd definitely offer it. If I was Philadelphia, I'd say no.
Because you could replace Embiid with Wiseman immediately and not even have to do anything.
I don't know. Wiseman, he's not Embiid. I'm not trading.
Well, you just said you want to draft him.
I need 3 number 1s for Embiid. like they got for the Pelicans got for Anthony Davis. I need 3 number 1s.
Well, honestly, if you're the Warriors, you're trading your 2 for Embiid. You're not planning on picking the top 10 next year anyway. You might as well offer him next year's 1 too.
I need
Would
3
you take
first-round draft picks.
The number 2 overall and next year's first rounder?
Yeah, I need 3 number 1s.
You still need more than that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who's offering you better than that, though?
Well, they don't have to. I'm like Leroy Nelson's. I'm not taking just 1 pick. It's back the truck up.
Well, Terry and Tom mentioned, and I said no to this one. They said they want the number 2 pick and Wiggins, and I said I'm not giving up a 20-some point scoring wing and the 2 pick for a center.
I want number 2 pick Wiggins and another.
Well, that's what you want. I'm saying if I'm Golden State, would you give up Wiggins and the 2 pick
for Embiid? If they would take that, I would probably do it.
I wouldn't do it because. All right, let's say the number 2 pick is. Well, let's say Embiid's worth the 2 pick, which is Wiseman. Then you're just basically giving up a 20-point wing score. Is what I'm saying.
It's gonna be a log. It's gonna be a log jam when Thompson.
If Embiid gets the same number of points as Wiggins, then you still gave away the 2 pick, which could contribute. So to me, you're in the same spot. Yeah, now I like Embiid.
It's going to take more for Philadelphia.
I just don't like giving up 25-point scores or 20-point scores for nothing, just to add on to a trade.
I don't think Wiggins is in the Golden State's long-term plans.
Number 2, do not draft a point guard. You sent Devontae. You got Devontae Graham lucked out on him in the second round. You sent him to the lottery. He's the one. Don't draft his replacement after sending him up there. That'd be messed up.
I don't want LaMelo Ball. Not called LaMelo's called. I don't want the baggage, the entourage that comes with him.
I don't think Jordan would touch that family with a 10-foot pole. A lot of people are saying you got to go with him, but I mean, just watching him play, he's just tossing up stuff to me. Like,
this is one of those. If we miss that draft pick, so be it. He might.
Make somebody else do that one.
Somebody else deal with that.
And my number 3 was don't draft a center. Now that's where you were with Wiseman, and I just don't. You just put it anywhere, man, or whatever our stuff is. I just don't. We've drafted plenty. I just went through the Zellers, the Von Lays, and thank you, Andre. And I'm just tired of seeing, unless they're going to promise me that he can score 25 points a game. I need that 25. I don't want it. I don't want him.
I wish we could have seen him play at Memphis.
That's true. You don't know.
The handful of games I did see him play, he looked pretty stout. Granted, that was against some of the non-conference, lower-level competition.
You think Golden State will pick him if they keep the draft pick then?
Yes.
That's what they would want.
And that's going to stick us with LaMelo Ball.
But there's no point in them drafting a guard when they have Clay, Steph, and Wiggins. They have to. I would think they would go Wiseman.
I would too. They don't need Anthony Edwards. They don't need LaMelo Ball. Wiseman.
Looking at the drafts the other day, there's one that's called consensus draft picks, whatever, and it goes through and it goes through all the mock drafts and says the most consensus at that spot. And LaMelo was going at 3, but this is again, Andy. To me, it's one of those like with Cam and other people. You got to have fits for some people. Like what are we going to do in Charlotte by picking Ball? We pick him. You're hoping he's good. You're hoping his daddy ain't crazy, and you're hoping you add 3 or 4 more pieces to make him worth the while.
Yeah,
if your team's not good, like, do you want him jacking up random ass shots?
That's why I want. I'd pay money to go see Wiseman. I'm not paying money to go see Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball.
Okay, so this is what I said was do the draft. Do your draft. I know that probably because they can't do it. Usually you get to bring in guys for workouts. So if I'm the Hornets and I can do the workouts, this is what I'm doing. I'm picking the 4 to 6 best wings. We're playing 1-on-1. Whoever wins it
goes top of your board.
Y'all know where we're leaning. You want to be number 2 or 3. You beat him. It's the whole with the Joker and Batman. You break the stick, throw it out. We're having tryouts. That's what you got to do. And I want the best one-on-one score. We haven't had a one-on-one player, wing, since when? Glenn Rice? When's the last time we could swing it to a wing and be like, go one-on-one and beat this guy? Steven Jackson was...
We caught him at the end of his career.
But no, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just as good.
Great a shot.
You need someone who could get a shot. And
Anthony Edwards might be that guy. He's a 6'5".
I've got Edwards.
Wing.
I've got Edwards, Toppin, the kid from Israel, Adesha, Halliburton, and Vassell. Adesha, the reason I have him there is almost like I said earlier in the show, almost all the top-ranked European guys, they always end up whoever the number 1 guy is, he ends up pretty good. Now, I know there's been some few. Naciani wasn't that good in Toronto, but looking at his scouting report, it says one of the best players, if not the best player of his generation. Luka Doncic just came from there 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
That's a bold statement.
Right. If they're willing to say that, he's on my board. I'm giving him the tryout is what I'm saying. I'm letting him come in and try out against Toppin and Edwards and Halliburton and Vassell.
The European players, actually a lot of players on this list I have not seen. Killian Hayes, I don't know anything. Obi Toppin, I saw a lot of highlights.
Mm-hmm. Now watching him dunk, Andy,
he's an athlete. Vassell, I saw him some at Florida State.
Reading his scouting reports, they look good, really. Like as far as wanting a wing score. So if you're looking at those, I'm gonna give you those 5. Let's say this is how the draft goes. 1. Let's say the draft goes 1, 2, LaMelo and Wiseman.
If Anthony Edwards there at 3,
if you got Edwards, Toppin, Adesha, Halliburton, and Vassell.
I'd probably just go with Edwards.
Are you sold on Edwards?
No, he's not his shot's a little. His shot's not ugly, but he shot 40% at Georgia.
Is his shot the same or which one's better between him and Toppin shooting?
Toppin's probably a better shooter.
And Toppin's bigger too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Player of the year.
And Toppin.
Hunter loves Obi Toppin. I haven't really seen him. I've seen some of the highlights.
He's a small, undersized forward, back to the basket and spot up threes. I don't know if he can.
So I was thinking he was
and create a shot.
I was thinking he was a small forward. He weighs less than Chaz Surratt.
Undersized small
he's
forward.
He's 6'9", 220.
I weigh 220.
And he's not.
I weigh 220.
And he's not a senior. He is a sophomore. You were right about that. So I was 100% wrong on that. I'm sure if Chris is watching, he would be yelling at me.
I don't know if he can get anybody off the dribble.
So this one I'm looking at. This is NBADraftNet.com. They've got Edwards 1, LaMelo Ball 2. Why the hell would Golden State?
Golden State's not touching him.
That don't make any sense.
Which pains me because that means they're going to take Wiseman, and it's going to stick us with a bunch of.
Would Minnesota not
choices.
go Wiseman? Have him and Cat down? Well, what are you going to do with that?
Minnesota's a place where rookies go to die.
Well, I know that, but somebody's got to go there to die. They'll pick one. I mean, they don't want LaMelo with D'Angelo Russell there.
They're going to take Edwards. They need a scoring wing. They've got, like I said, D'Angelo Russell.
Does Cat stay on the block, or does he stay on the wing most of the time?
He can get in the post. He can shoot the ball, too, though.
That's what I'm saying. Does he like to?
Yeah, he'll do a little bit of both. Hardly any centers now.
Well, Killian Hayes is a point guard.
Yeah.
We don't need that. LaMelo Ball is a point guard. It's got Halliburton as a point guard at 6'5". I mean, Advisha is 6'9", 210. Small forward. Vassell sitting there at the 9 in this one. 6'7", 200. Didn't know he was that tall. So let me read you see if they got Obi Toppin's scouting report for Andy before we make a final pick here for the Charlotte Hornets.
The guy from USC, I don't really know much about him. Just a down year, I'm afraid.
All right, here's his ratings.
Just Toppin.
Yeah, athleticism 9, size 9, defense 7, strength 7, quickness 8, leadership 8, jump shot 8, NBA ready 9, rebounding 7, potential 8, post skills 7, intangibles 9.
I need to know, can he beat somebody off the dribble from the wing?
Let's see.
Create his own shot.
Oh, you want strengths or weaknesses? We'll just read you the weaknesses. Is that what you want? Mm-hmm. Though a standout athlete with nice size, Toppin doesn't seem to possess great foot quickness.
That's not good in the NBA.
And will likely have some struggles defending on the perimeter in matchups with quicker fours. Appears somewhat stiff in his upper body and shoulders, but flexibility could be improved upon. Is this Blake Griffin?
He wishes he was Blake Griffin.
Given his leaping skills and length, as well as his size advantage he enjoys in most matchups with a 10 big man, he's just an average overall rebounder. Perhaps his rebounding can improve with focus and core strength. Like, anytime someone that's 6'9" doesn't rebound or 10, like, I'm like, Barkley got 15 a game. He was 6'4". You got to try. You know, you just got to go after it. Let's see.
Giving him an unspectacular ceiling.
Where did you see that at?
It's down a little lower. So he's solid.
Are you on the same thing?
Yeah.
He doesn't have many moves, so this isn't what I want.
I need a spectacular.
I need a wing scorer. I want somebody to play somebody one-on-one. He prefers almost exclusively use the right-handed jump hook when he can't simply dunk the ball, and he hasn't showed much off the bounce. Not much of a shot creator. There you go, Andy.
Yep.
So,
Shot creator.
turned 22 in March, and he's just a sophomore at 22. So, I don't know what's going on there. So, not feeling good on that one?
No.
Well, if Edwards goes 1 and Wiseman goes 2.
We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Patrick,
Do you pick the kid from Israel at 3?
I have not seen enough of him. I don't know.
They've got him going to the Knicks right now. Would you take a trade at 3 for if somebody wants LaMelo? How far back would you be willing to go?
Keep me in the top 10 if somebody will give me that.
Knicks are at 8. Will you take that?
If somebody will give me this year's top 10 and their first round next year, I'll trade it.
If the Knicks offer that?
Yeah. Because they're going to suck again.
Well, I know, right? You want next year's to be a lottery pick.
I'll take 8 and they're number 1 next year for 3.
All right, here's Avdija. Athleticism 7, size 8, defense 7, strength 7, quickness 7, leadership 8, jump shot 8, NBA ready 7, ball handling 8, potential 9, passing 9, intangibles 9. Strengths all around talented wing with great size, versatile, can play from shooting guard to power forward, great feel for the game, possesses a high basketball IQ, very competitive, not afraid of the big stage, jack of all trades. He can just do about everything on the floor, has all the necessary tools to become a point forward in the future and work as a secondary playmaker. Has been exposed to high-level competition from a young age. He's a better athlete than most people think. Great ball handler for a wing. Can create his own shot. Has shown signs of pull-up situations and shooting up off the dribble. Already has a very good-looking step-back 3 that helps him punish switches. Attacks closeouts, can go all the way and finish plays at the rim. Very good on the open floor, either with the ball handling or filling lanes as a wing. Elite court vision, can see angles few players can. His size, creative passer. Keeps on going. He can turn over either shoulder when posting up. Has improved considerably at moving without the ball. Very good rebounder. Versatile on the defensive end. He's basically not an athlete, but is a great bat. He's you, Andy, but 6'7".
Sounds a lot like Doncic.
I know, right? Terrific shot blocker for his position. Gets in passing lanes with active hands to make him get steals. Weaknesses. Below average wingspan. Needs to continue bulking up. Can lose focus from time to time and look lethargic on the floor. Doesn't have an elite burst, which limits him in isolation situations. Has problems blowing by athletic opponents from a standstill, which makes him settle for mid-range jumpers.
Make them, that's fine.
He's below 70% free throw shooting, which is very alarming for a wing. Needs work on spot up and catch and shoot situations. Is a streaky shooter now. Could get hot or cold at any time. Has problems creating separation. Sounds like he's a Klay Thompson, maybe.
I'd like to see what it said on Doncic's weaknesses last year. I would imagine they did not see him being able to get to the basket.
40 points a game, dropping triple doubles.
He just pushes people around. He doesn't really blow by them, but gets them on his hip and then just kind of moves them out of the way.
He does. He's people forget how he's really big. He's 6'7". He's not.
Guy. He's thick.
Let's see. Luka Doncic draft scouting report, and you can grab your food anytime you're ready. Grabbing a little lunch here in Cherville. Here I'm gonna pull up the Luka Doncic scouting report and see. This is from Sports Illustrated. Strengths. What you want? Weaknesses or strengths?
Yeah, his pre-draft. What do they have his weaknesses as?
Athletic ability has come into question. Quick enough off the floor and can elevate for dunks, but relies on his size and change of speeds to get into the paint and finish. Will face an adjustment to the speed of the NBA game. He hasn't sped up one bit. He's so calculating with his dribbles. He
gets where he wants to go.
Right. Not an elite creator for himself off the dribble. Relies on using his body to shield the ball and change direction. Well, when you're 6'7", quicker defenders can get into him and make him uncomfortable. Can be forced into settling for his jumper in isolation situations.
He does go to that step back three a lot.
Shooting just 30% from three-point range this season. The ball looks good coming out of his hand. Higher degree of difficulty shots may factor in. Stands to benefit from more open and set looks when placed aside other playmakers. Big and strong enough to stay on the floor defensively, but may have difficulty defending elite athletes on the wings. Well, that's why they're NBA athletes. Comparison, Ben Simmons, Lonzo Ball.
Exceeded those comparisons.
He's better than both of those fellas, isn't he? Think so. Strengths, plus basketball comprehension and floor vision. Feels out plays one or two steps ahead. Tall enough to see over the defense. Great in pick and roll. Great size for his position. Brings the level of versatility as a scorer. Can shoot off the dribble, post up smaller players, attack gaps, get to the basket. Reads the ball well off the glass. Likes to grab and go. Will advance the ball with the pass. Production level and success is unprecedented for his age. Has competed and thrived against grown men. So there's your Luka Doncic. What do you think about Advija now?
Why not?
Why not?
It's 2020. Why not?
He'll be the first Israeli player ever picked there in the lottery. I don't even know if he'll be the first. He may be the first ever to play. I'm not sure about that. I could be wrong, but I know it would be the first lottery.
Did you see Patrick Williams down here at number 11?
Yeah, they had him.
Guy?
They had him as he's the second Florida State player on the board, right?
Yeah, but local guy from West Charlotte.
Okay, is that who?
Yeah,
I did not know that. Advija's dad was a former basketball player in Yugoslavia.
Imagine most of these guys' dads were former basketball
He was
players.
MVP of FIBA at 18. What do you think about that, Andy?
Let's take him. Why not?
Let's take him. All right. I just wanted to see. So, if it's Edwards and Wiseman first, you feeling Advija?
I'm not right if they pick Advija.
Okay.
I'll take it.
If they don't, but you want Wiseman if he drops.
Yep.
What if Edwards and Advisia is open and Ball goes one or two? One.
Probably go ahead and take Edwards. I'll take Edwards. There.
Edwards. So your choices are, if you're asking Andy Sain, Wiseman, Edwards, and then Advisia, over Toppin, and Halliburton and Vassell.
Yep.
All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
There it is. Write it down.
There's your expert draft opinion from Andrew Sain.
Come back in a year and see if we know what we're talking about.
We'll cut that out. All right, let's we're gonna take a quick break to get our food together, and I'm gonna play just a little something for you guys for just a second. That didn't switch over for Terry. We're just gonna take a quick break, get our food out, and then we're gonna get back to talking the playoffs for just a second, folks. So just hold on for just 1 minute. Turn my cell phone. I'll do a little bit of update here on the thing while Andy finishes up lunch. Sorry, folks. We're going to take the whole lunch, but we decided we were pounding our food so good it kind of ended up that way. All right, let me go over the schedule. Kind of started on that. I then got away from it with the draft to let Andy hear some of my rantings and ravings about the Hornets and their ridiculousness over the years. They get to practice in the bubble. They did announce that, Andy. Uh-oh. Lowry undergo MRI on his foot injury. Hope he's okay. That's my pick to win the East. We've got Bucks and Magic today at 1:30. Heat looking to sweep today at 6:30 over the Pacers. I mean, I would have picked the Heat at the beginning, but it's just still surprising that they're working on a sweep there. Rockets and Thunder. This interesting series. I thought the Rockets is the team the Lakers wouldn't want to have to play. I don't know if they can guard them, Andy. Now, whether or not the Rockets can guard them, completely different. I don't think the Lakers can guard the Rockets because Lillard and McCollum is going to be juiced up to Westbrook and Harden. So I think it's just a slightly more problem. That now here's what the Rockets don't have that the Trailblazers have is shot blockers. Rockets ain't got nothing down low, so LeBron can just dance all the way to the rim all he wants to. Really,
Anthony Davis and Joe McGee should have plenty of opportunities for rebounds,
a ton of dunks,
offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I don't see Rockets big. They ain't got nothing for the bigs. That like I think that's what Lakers. What is good for them is their size. But I don't. I mean, if the Rockets hit 40% from three, it don't matter how many dunks LeBron them get, and then we'll start there, Andy, because Bucks, Magic, Heat, and Pacers, whatever. But with LeBron and them, in that first game he had a triple double. I was like 14 assists or something like that, and he only had 22 points. I'm like, who the hell is he passing it to 14 times with all these guys hurt? And would it be better if he was the one taking? And that's the always thing when people talk about Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron and the passing it, and saying the Space Jam joke I make. Would I rather LeBron take those 14 extra shots in the paint or kick out to Porky Pig in the corner? So I was like, with the lineup they have, if he gets 14 assists, fine. But he's got to have 30 points to me, I think. You've got to have those 60 points from your two best players.
What did he have? He had
it's like 22 in the first. Last night, 35.
He knows when he needs to turn it on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He turned into 30-something and they won.
He'd give him 14 assists. Let's see if I can get my teammates. Because if he get everybody involved and they're hitting, they blow people out. Kuzma's hitting.
Man, screw his teammates.
Caldwell Pope's hitting. Danny Green's been struggling.
I'll tell you what, Danny Green is the most hated person on. I know you're not on Twitter, on Lakers Twitter in the world. And they're doing like what the other fans, and I feel bad for Danny. Like he hasn't won what 2-3 championships already in his career, and did he win in Cleveland with them? Was he on that team? I don't think he was. Was he still in? He was in San Antonio, wasn't he?
He's 2-time NBA champ.
All right, then it was San Antonio. Then last year in Toronto.
I'm trying to find his 3-point field goal percentage this year.
But like, so I saw someone talking the other day about LeBron's game, about how he needs these two other guys because he does pass so much. But the problem is, who's been the scapegoat when they don't play? They blame Bosh in Miami. They blame Kevin Love in Cleveland. It's that power forward that shoots the threes and goes outside. Well, what has Anthony Davis been doing in the fourth quarters? 2 points, 3 points.
He's been up and down.
2 points, 3 points. Just nothing in the fourth quarters. And so what they're saying is that the way LeBron runs his offense is that for him to be able to get to the basket, because he waves off the four guy, because he doesn't want an extra shot blocker in the lane. And this is a lot relating to 90s basketball. And now, Jordan and Dominique went to the lane. There was 2 7-footers most of the time, and they're waiting to foul somebody or block their shot. And the backup guy, let's say the Cody Zellers of the world, weren't making $10 million. They were making $700,000. They said, if you don't go tackle him, you're not getting your $700,000. So the way he waves him off, so he can take his man 1-on-1, body him to the glass. Maybe the 7-footer in the center comes over, maybe not. But what they're saying is that's why Anthony Davis ends up in these fourth quarters not scoring much, is because they're pushing him out to the corner, and he's not involved in the offense at all during the close game situations. You know what I mean?
Well, if I was LeBron, I don't want a 7-footer in there either. It's not.
Well, Whitesides gives him trouble. Roy Hibbert gave him trouble for years. I mean, LeBron don't go into the lane most of the time to dunk it anyway. He's going into either kick it out or go off the glass, and that's where those shot blockers can get to that. So, they play tonight at 9:00. Lakers favored by 7. Where does the series go, Andy?
I think they'll put them up 3-1 if they win tonight.
If the Lakers are up 2-1 right now, Rockets are up 2-1, Bucks are up 2-1.
And Lillard's hurt his hand. Was that last game or 2 games ago? I think it's 4-1. They're gonna go ahead and put him out.
They're gonna take them on out.
The Blazers are just like the Clippers with Chris. They can't win in the playoffs. It's just like Chris Paul at the Clippers.
Blazers got one title in the 70s.
They should have won more games, but they just can't win in the playoffs.
Made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, then got swept by Steph Curry in the game. So let me back up to yesterday's game so I can complain about that for a while. We'll get on my Nuggets rant last. Celtics sweep the Philadelphia 76ers, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the first time in his career, Kemba Walker has won a playoff series.
Go Kemba.
So congratulations to him. Andy, if you want to know about my philosophy as picking wings goes, Kemba never win shit in Charlotte. He goes to Boston 1 year. Who's his 2 and 3 guard? Brown and Tatum.
Tatum's a beast.
Oh, God. Guess what they are?
Wings.
2 wings. They can get their own shots. Surprise, Charlotte. Quit picking the big guys. So, I mean, shit. It's like they keep trying to pick the next Kevin Garnett when they should just keep picking Scottie Pippins. They just keep picking the wings.
Well, they ain't no Scottie Pippins in this draft.
We just went over Edwards and Toppin and Advisia.
Not Scottie Pippins.
Giannis was picked when? Second round? Or the end of the first? Mid-first?
Middle of first.
Mid-first. So, Celtics 76ers. That sets up the other sweep in the East. Raptors over Nets. How about this, Andy? If I told you your team would score 122 points in regulation and lose by 28.
that game was just run and gun. That Nets knew they were done. We'll just take turns. It's like an all-star game. You shoot a 3, we'll shoot a 3. Let's get out of here.
Here's the scores. Raptors 39-38, 39-34. Nets 32-36, 19-35. So the Nets played good 3 out of 4 quarters. But, and again, if an NBA coach says, let's draft this kid because he can play some defense, and the score is 150-22, how important is a 2-point basket anyway?
Yeah, defense is ain't but a handful of guys that are locked down defenders anymore.
You know, we went
Everybody's too good. Guys are too good.
We went, well, in the rules, you can't touch anybody now. Think about, you
That's
went
fine. I don't want to see a wrestling match.
Well, Detroit and them, think about, but important that the shots are, though. You know, you can do some math. When the other night, Lakers lost 193. That's my type of basketball game.
That's too bad.
100 points is my number.
I need more scoring than that.
Because anything over that, what if you get a spectacular dunk? It's worth nothing. It's worth, if you got a dunk at a 150-point game, what was it worth? What was it? It was worth, what's the percentage on that? 1.5% of your points.
Yeah.
So like, it's the more points you go up, the less important every basket is. Now, you get up 110. You know, stuff happens. 150 in regulation. I know that their circumstances are different, but shit, Andy,
that's a lot of points.
Think about it if you were there and there's no fans actually there. What if you're the referee? You're like, Christ, guys.
The referees are probably enjoying this and not getting booed by the fans.
Well, yeah, that too. That's another thing I was wondering. How do you think? You know, home court advantage don't always just affect the players. It affects the referees.
think it's probably improved the refereeing overall. I imagine they feel free to make the calls.
Exactly. So I was hoping, would they feel more free to make a call and say LeBron pushing off on a drive to the basket as opposed to being in the middle of the Spectrum set. What is it now? The Spectrum set. The four. I don't even know what it's called now. In the Lakers' home arena, and now they aren't there to get booed. They aren't there to yell at them. They aren't there to jump on them. So, are you going to get a carry on Harden?
Yeah, I imagine it's improved the refereeing.
What I think it would improve, and what I was hoping it was improving, what used to drive me crazy, it does about NBA basketball, is how you can fly from one city to the next and it be a 40-point swing. So, like, if you play in L.A., Lakers win by 20. We go to Portland, Portland wins by 20. Wow, how the hell does that happen? Like, well, you in high school, if a team beats you by 20 this time, what are they going to do the next time they beat you?
By 20.
like we don't come back and win by 20.
Yeah,
I've never, or if we've beat somebody by 20, we've never turned around and got beat by someone by 20. I don't know.
It's they're a lot closer. Everybody's a pro in that level. I mean, you don't come up the bench with a bunch of scrubs. I mean, you bring in other pros off the bench, they can hold their own. Sometimes they get the better of them.
I was hoping, without the home court, that all that would even out, so we would have better actual series and closer games as opposed to 20-point games. So just yesterday we had 2 2-point games and a 4-point game. Then of course the 28-point game.
That's pretty good basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
I really like the bubble. I've watched the great camera angles. I like being able to hear more of what's going on.
Would you pay extra for the custom channel?
Yeah, to be able to, like, if they were all mic'd up, I think that'd be great.
I don't think they'll allow it because of the racial issue.
Somebody let something slip.
Oh, it'd be a ton of. Yeah, I mean, you've played basketball and been on courts and athletics and the words that get. But if you could cut out the certain things and I would rather pay to watch.
I mean, they could put it on delay or something.
Yeah, and beep out certain things.
I'd like to hear what they talk about.
Just the thing with did you see the Montreal's Harrell thing? Where he yelled at Luka. Not last night, the game before. I think he got a dunk or rebound or something on Luka. He called him a bitch ass white boy. Everybody's heard it. They got it on national TV, so they're arguing about whether he should be suspended. And if Luka had said that to him the other way, would this be national news? Would it be all over the place? And so Harrell went up to him and apologized yesterday at the game. Then Harrell pitched in a grand total of 2 points in 17 minutes last night. While Luka, I mean, call him whatever. I'd be like, if I'm Luka, I'm like,
just send him a copy of my stat sheet.
42. I got to average a triple double, dude. Yeah. Like, what are you calling me? And Andy, I'm pretty sure you've probably been in that situation at some point where people on the basketball court, they get mad if you start putting it in them and beating them, and people will get mad and say things and they don't like it.
I'd be mad if Luka hung that kind of triple double on me too.
Yeah, one of the maddest that we got somebody up at Boone mad at us. We played. You remember Sean Hall? That played he was a point guard at Apple. I don't know if he played by the time you'd graduated or not.
Yeah, he might have been after me.
He was about 5'10", all over the place, could fly. I think he led the conference in scoring one year. But our intramural team, we was up at the Quinn one day when they came in. It was during the summer. We was up there just playing around and goofing off, and they came in and got next, and we beat them. Oh, they were mad. They were mad. And not part of the reason we beat them was because I went off. I hit 7 threes. He hit 5. So I'm over here going shot for shot with the conference score, and his big men were sucking it up. They were trying to do dumb stuff. Like if they would have just dunked it instead of they were trying to
fancy.
Yeah, they probably could have beat us but they didn't think that we were going to give them a run at all. We had 5-6 foot dudes. Like we didn't have no big men. We just ran, and we ran them out of the damn gym, and they were so mad. But yeah, just wondering if you had seen that and talking about the pay for the channel. Would you like a custom channel in all sports like football?
Yeah,
just
I'd like to hear it mic'd up on all of it.
You couldn't put it on regular TV. I tell you what has pissed me off is, and I know this isn't NBA, but some of the NBA have it on different channels. I'm trying to cord cut here and not have cable. So NBC yesterday and this weekend had the rights to the NASCAR. It was on NBC Sports Network, which is a cable channel. Regular NBC on Saturday showed dirt bike racing, and yesterday showed a TV show called Cannonball, a game show where you just, I don't know, you end up falling in the water a lot. Let me put it that way. So shouldn't the people who would want to watch whatever dumb things those were have to search for MSNBC as opposed to
Put the good stuff on the.
all the other folks just turned at 36 and on regular television? Yeah, but you grew up the same time I did. The race was on regular TV.
Yeah, I don't. The cord cutting is going to turn into, instead of having one cable bill, you're going to have $10 bills.
Netflix
Hulu,
and this and that, right?
Amazon Prime, Sling, whatever.
Mhm.
All that is just going to be right back where we started.
I think the
I'm afraid.
PlayStation networks are like $65 and stuff like that.
Disney Plus, Apple Plus, ESPN Plus.
Once you add it up together, you end up.
You're back in the same boat.
Yeah, I don't want a lot of that stuff. The cable, the what we were paying for was not even close to what I was using. What we were using, we get by with the kids watch DVDs, and I watch everything on the internet anyway. So I'm doing my best. But the live sports is a problem. That drives me crazy. Well, like, are you telling me that this dirt bike race and wherever the hell it is getting more viewers than the NASCAR race is? No, it's not even close.
There'll probably be a NASCAR. Sometime, eventually, you'll just pay a separate fee for NASCAR.
They just added. I did see they joined there is a racing online network, and they just added them to do some partnered with them to. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing, but I think they're going to be where you can go and watch older races as their startup key with that. But yeah, there shouldn't be any reason. There shouldn't be any reason I can't go on. And what they do is they put it on stuff. It's on NBC Network and the Fox Sports thing too, so it'll be on FS1 instead of Fox, and NBC instead of that. So if you can't even go on and download like their app and watch it unless you are paying a DirecTV or AT&T bill. So I don't know. That maybe that's on the sports league, because I mean that's NASCAR for not getting on the right channels or whatever. But I just don't understand for the life of me why NBC and all that will do that and put it up. Like I said, the Cannonball. Shit. I was just shaking my head yesterday. Raptors and Nets, that's over. All right, we got two more series to talk about. We'll start with the series tied at 2-2. Clippers and Mavericks. Doncic hits a game winner last night at the buzzer.
I watched most of that game. It was unreal.
Did you see the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched most of it. And caught the end and just unbelievable.
So
He just dominated.
have you seen the? I showed you seen the online where people do the memes and everything. The one where the Luka with Paul George and Kawhi, and on Friday, it's they put Paul and Kawhi's head on Smokey and Ice Cube's head when they sit on the porch, and Debo's coming up the street on the bicycle. So you know that scene?
Yeah.
He's coming up the bicycle. You can hear the bike screeching.
Out of their chains.
And the music. That's the exact scene. The music is dun 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 dun, and they even use the audio. Oh, how'd you change? Here he come! Here he come! And when the video shows it, they go up his body. It's Luka's head on Debo. Oh, I'll pull it up for you. It's a pretty good one.
They did that without Porzingis.
Yes. That's nobody's even talking about that. Last night without Porzingis, no KP.
He's been playing really well.
How good is Luka Doncic?
MVP.
Huh?
Him and Giannis are going to fight for the MVP for the next 10 years.
Yeah. I like him. I mean, I've seen him in an actual NBA practice and watched him just work and play, and it's just natural. It's natural talent. It's he's good, and he's so. Just watch him talk to reporters. He's so like it's almost bashful, the way to describe it. Like he is when the limelight and they ask him questions, you can almost see him blush. Like he's so young. He hasn't been jaded by any of this process or any of this yet, and I don't know, you could tell he just likes and loves what he's doing. So I've interviewed him and seen him at Mavs practice and at the All-Star game. In the All-Star games, that was when Andy they put the guys on the court right down the middle of the floor, and one side and they basically faced out on the outside. They had the curtain down the middle it was the the VIP walkway down the middle, so the players and everybody could walk down the middle with their significant folks and whoever. But LeBron's thing was packed, of course. Durant's was packed. Luka's was the third biggest. I mean, it was just packed with foreigners. The press, they wanted to talk to him. Everybody wanted to. Everybody, and it was everybody thinks they're like on a first name basis with him. So everybody, Luka, and
he's one of those guys that's known by just one name now. You know?
Yeah, and like I said, he's bashful about it all. He's just, I don't know. It's to be as good and smooth as he is, and just watch him in those practices. That's when you realize how big he is. It's because you see the James Hardens, and you're like, God dang, he's bigger than him.
Yeah.
And you just see those guys out there in the All-Star game, and Luka's just bigger than him. And you're like, again, he's 21 years old, and everybody's comparing him to Bird. And you know, if Bird to me is the middle of Dirk and Luka, so you can kind of put those in a row. But Luka being as tall as he is, he's pulling down boards like Bird.
Yeah.
Bird averaged 10 boards a game, I think. Or maybe even 11. I know he averaged double-digit board. I think it was 10.6. And a lot of people don't know that about Bird. You're like, he's the small forward, averaging 10 boards a game. He's got Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish out there, and he's pulling down 10 boards.
Luka's the point guard and pulling down 7 or 8.
Should he be running point or coming off wings? Well,
I like him at the point.
You like him wasting any of his energy dribbling up? Because a lot of people are saying that, like, they want him coming off the, like, not being the one that brings it up, like, have someone else bring it half court and then him come get it.
That's fine.
Like Jokic does, like the high post point guard type thing.
That gives him
You just want him to have the ball.
Have the ball, yeah.
Okay.
Get it in his hands about 18 seconds and see what happens.
I'm gonna pull up
be ready to shoot.
The Luka thing here, if I can find it. Andre tagged me in it. Of course, when I'll go click on it, and it's not gonna show up. Ding. I may have to just search Andre's name and pull that up. So series tied 2-2. Do Luka and the Mavericks have a shot?
Yes. No home court advantage for the Clippers. If this was a regular series, I would say they didn't have a shot just because they'd have to close out.
Yeah.
In LA, but the bubble takes that away, and the Clippers looked disinterested yesterday.
Yeah.
Playoff P has done nothing. Yeah. I don't know where he thought he should have that nickname.
Playoff P. You talking about Paul George?
Paul George, 13 points, 3 of 14 or whatever he turned in yesterday.
That's not good.
Kawhi's still a beast. He did his part.
He is. So they're 2-2. You can going back to Dallas or going to this. That's so weird. Not saying that. Paul George last night, 9 points, Andy.
9 points. That's not going to get. That's why you lose. That's why they lost.
Lou Williams.
He might as well set out with Porzingis.
36 off the bench and got beat.
Lou tried to carry him.
Here's your points. So if Paul George, what I say, had 9, Boban outscored him. Boban had 10.
Boban gets his money's worth when he's in there.
If Boban gets 10, if Paul George gets outscored by Boban, you deserve to lose.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Just write that one down, Paul. Look at the box. That's what they should have did when they handed him it. Because if you ever been to an NBA game, they hand them their stat sheets
right after it's over. Draw a line up to Boban.
Draw it, Paul and Boban.
Playoff Boban.
This is why y'all lost. Do you know Boban's parents? How tall they are?
I saw it 5'3" and 5'4".
9. His dad's my height. And his mom's. It's basically me and Amy.
Yeah.
If me and Amy had a 7'3" guy.
I like Boban.
That's when the dad's like.
He's effective when he's in there.
That's when the dad needs to be like, how tall is the mailman? How tall is the milkman in our neighborhood? So UPS, what has UPS been delivering around here? I'm 5'9". This Joker's 7'3".
Come on.
He's such a funny guy too.
Yeah.
When we saw him, went to see him in Charlotte. Tom Stefani was with me, and he was Boban was standing up against the goal doing his stretches. Like his hips were like our neck level. Like he's bending over and like, God, he could fart right in our faces right now. He's so big and so tall. And he's walking around just holding 2 basketballs. Like there was just like this softball.
Yeah.
Like it's just Yeah, hey, how's
Wraps
everybody
halfway
doing?
around the ball.
Like people would want a ball. This is him. Like, there you go. It's insane. But yeah, 5'9".
And he can move a little bit for a
Yeah,
big guy.
I like him. He,
Plays hard. He can play on my team any day. Who was another guy? Oh, Alex Caruso.
you like
For the
Caruso?
Lakers, man, he gets every bit of his talent. He gets the most out of his talent.
Here's the meme for you. See, I think the volume's gonna work. We'll try to get it. Here we go. Audio is not working. That's it. I wish I could get it. That's all it is. I'm not gonna be able to get that. But anyway, you get the gist of it. There he is. Look, is there Detector Chains?
Oh, well, I can watch that when I go
Yeah.
back to the house.
It's just it just got the music and them talking.
He took it straight from him yesterday. So they jumped up on him 21, and Dallas fought back. And
So they were arguing earlier today about Luka. Two things on the last play. So they had 7 seconds left, and they threw the ball in the bounds in the backcourt. Do you like the whole "we have a foul to give" type of thing? I'm not sure what that. I'd never heard of that until like 5-6 years ago. And then
one foul before they shoot free throws.
Right.
Yeah, you can take them, let them run a little clock, and then make them inbounded again. Just eats. If you got one, it eats.
right,
I think not 4 seconds off.
all right.
They fouled like 3 seconds to go.
But
NBA, that's an eternity though.
if you do that, you take the chance the guy's gonna pull up and get an and one or free
Yeah, you gotta be
throws.
careful about it.
You also, like, let's say, Andy, like they gave the ball to Luka in the backcourt. Let's say they double teamed him for a second, and then he crossed half court and they fouled him. Well, you had him stopped basically 50 feet from the basket, and now you're giving him to draw up a play on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a
Like, I almost would rather him be on the court.
Let him play it out.
Yeah, because if they do foul him, I would rather have an accidental foul to give as opposed to why foul, and then the next time I touch you, like on the inbound pass, if somebody would have grabbed somebody,
Shoot
1-on-1.
free throws. Yeah.
Like that's the whole. Hey, we got less fouls. That's all, to me that'd be good, but they would rather. I understand the concept maybe when you're up 3 and they want you to foul, so you can't get a 3 off.
Make it shoot 2 free throws.
I can get that, but wasn't it tied or there was only down? It was down 1.
They were down. Yeah.
It was only down 1.
Which makes that shot even more impressive.
He pulled up a pull up 3.
28-footer, right in Reggie Jackson's face.
All right, now with that said, should Kawhi have switched there? That's the big argument. If you go in that situation, you know Doc Rivers said, Kawhi, you've got Luka.
Yeah.
Do you switch there to
Who set the pick? I can't remember who set the
whoever was guarding? Shit,
pick. Reggie Jackson. I can't remember who Reggie was guarding.
I'm not sure.
I mean, you give Luka a 28-footer over Reggie, or you give that other guy a wide open.
Fight through the screen, be a man.
He's an NBA player too. The guy
Tell
set the screen
Kawhi.
was probably wide open.
Oh yeah, you'd rather him shoot it wide open.
I don't know. You don't want to give NBA players wide open shots.
Well, the covered one with Luka did not work out too.
No, it didn't.
To exactly. I know that's hindsight 2020. I'm gonna find your guy here in a second. See who set that pick. I don't know why they're showing me 40 seconds before that. I don't care. All right, there's Luka hitting the shot. All right, blah 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 blah. All right, that was him pull back step. That was the step back. Oh, okay. Where's the? I'm not getting the screen down. I'm getting a crossover pullback 3. Was that it? They're celebrating. I thought that was on an inbound play.
They got it in. I think they got it right too, Luka.
Oh,
Somebody set a pick.
They're not showing that. They're cutting the highlight I'm looking at is cutting the pick.
Let's see who else is up near the top of the.
It looks like 42. Is that Kleber? Is in the middle of the floor.
Cleveland can shoot.
It's 42 being guarded by Kawhi right there. So that's who
Cleaver,
set the
'cause
pick.
They were on each other most of the game.
So Kleber set the pick. And that's who Kawhi switched off on. So what do you think? Should he have switched or fight through it?
I'm all right with the switch.
All right.
Maybe even take that was a hard shot. Luke is just a man.
Shaq is not impressed by the shot. It says. I don't know why. I'm not going to click on it to listen to him, but Shaq was not impressed.
What?
A shot Shaq can never hit in his life. Andy.
Yeah.
All right, Shaq. Let me see you do the step back.
I wonder if Shaq has any game winners.
Yeah, that's a good question too. All right, here's what it looks like, Andy. So Luka sets a fake pick on Steph's guy.
Oh, it's a pick even before the inbounds, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a pick before the inbounds. So Curry went through, Luka set a fake pick, and then Kleber comes over.
Yeah, I think they had to switch that one.
So here's
I got called.
here is it should. All right, so here's Kawhi with his back to the ball. That's probably his first mistake. Because not only is his back to the ball, his back to the screen man, too.
Curry's clearing through. Here comes Kleber. Does Kawhi even see it coming?
No, he's got his back to the – look, Kawhi's got his back to Kleber
guard.
and
He's
the
face
ball.
guard Luka, which I guess he's probably told to face guard him.
Well, hell, if you're going to face guard and then switch on a screen, what's the point of face guarding him? Like, so Kleber comes out.
Yeah, he was stuck. Yeah, he had to switch that one.
Kluber set the screen right above the three-point line. Luka got the ball almost at the logo. Well, his feet went in the logo. He took 2, 3, 4 dribbles, step back.
That's a 28-foot shot.
And by the time he let go, and he had plenty of room too. Like Beverly didn't get into him at all. Like in that situation, Andy, you've got 3 seconds left. Like, where does he think Luka's going, to the rack?
I'm a big
Like, hug his hip.
I think the step back is a better. If you're gonna take a shot at the end of the game, I like a pull-up step back jumper versus trying to get to the basket because they never give you the foul
Oh man,
going to that. You might as well. If you great separation, you might as well shoot a jumper.
That's what I can't.
That clean shot.
That crossover messed him up because I'm trying to figure out why in the world Beverly wouldn't be in his hip to begin with if he's such a good defender.
Beverly's hurt.
Is that not him?
Yeah.
Is that not Beverly
That's
Gardner?
Reggie Jackson.
Oh, that's Reggie Jackson. Okay. Well, why Jackson wouldn't be on him? He should have never left that right hip. He's got to shoot with his right hand. He's going left. Like, he's not going to the rack. He's not going to dunk it. So when he stepped back, boom, and watch this crossover. Jackson's both his feet went that way. Then he was beat on the step back. It's just,
Reggie still got his hand up. I mean,
Reggie was close on the
it's
hand.
just a good,
Yeah.
great shot.
So you're saying okay with Kawhi switching?
Yeah, well, not ideal, but I don't think he had a choice.
Is that their defensive philosophy? Switch on all screens?
They switched a lot. That's how Luka kept getting free of Kawhi and Paul.
Do you like that?
Pick.
Switch it on screens.
I like it if I'm the offense. If I can make them switch.
No, I'm saying as a defender, if you're playing defense, would you rather try to stay with your man or
double.
keep switch on everything?
I think you get beat a lot trying to fight through. You're gonna get a lot of fouls called on your best defender. And you end up with double teams. The NBA is hard to double team. They're gonna find an open guy, and unless it's Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, they're gonna knock it down.
You know,
everybody on Dallas' team can shoot.
all right. With the strategy of fighting through or fighting over the top is to run them off the 3-point line. So that's your. Is it a? I always looked at it as a situational thing. As a guard, if I can fight through, I want to fight through. Because if I don't fight through, what's going to happen? If we switch, guard's going to take 2 dribbles, kick it right back to the post man with me with an ass in my face with the ball. So I'm not a fan of being there. I would rather chase over the top and funnel that guy towards other defenders. Because if he does pull up for a jumper, I'm on his hip. I can affect it. But I see what you're saying is that it's the NBA guys, so. Maybe it's a situational thing. I don't know.
I don't mind the NBA. Everybody's so good. A lot of them they can switch.
Yeah.
Even the bad defenders are not bad defenders.
Well, when you got 3 wings, raw 6'8",
Yeah.
that's fine. It's just like in that situation, do you want 6-foot Reggie Jackson? And also in that situation, let me ask you something. You're only going to go 3 seconds. And why is Jackson even on the floor? Why not put 5, 6, 8 guys on the floor?
Yeah, I don't know who they had.
You-
I don't know what their other options were.
That's what I say. A lot of teams will go in that situation and say they'll leave their point guard on the floor with 3 seconds to go. And what's he out there for?
Go ahead and put your best big wings out there.
Right. Like, put all your 7-footers, all your best wings, have them block the lanes, you got your long arms. That's a pure defensive. We're not going back to the other side. So why is even this 6-foot kid out here instead of one of our better wings?
I don't know how tall Reggie is.
6'3",
I don't know who else they had available. He might have
Somebody taller than 6'3".
might have been the best one available.
Somebody taller than 6'3". I'll tell you who they had available. Reggie Jackson. Who's he out there guarding? Steph? And like I said, it's not like anybody's making moves. That's just weird. All right, I'll say who they had. Well, Jackson was off the bench. Andy, they could have put Montrezl Harrell in.
Harold,
Where's all that shit talking? He could come in there and play some defense.
him and his 2 points was on the bench.
Green was on the bench.
Michael.
Jackson, Lou Williams with his 36 points. I don't know which starter was on the bench. Here's your starters: Leonard, George, Zubac, Morris, and Shamet. Or Shamet. I don't even know. Golly. I don't know some of these
They
people.
just got beat by a great shot.
All right. We'll finish up with my ranting and raving. You ready? I just want to say this as nicely and as positive as I can to the coach of the Denver Nuggets. Fuck you. What are you doing? Like for real? What the hell are you? I've got to pull this up. They have started a kid. They finally didn't play this last game. From South Carolina upstate. I'm just close your eyes, Andy. Do you want the kid from South Carolina upstate who's 29 years old, whose career average is 5 points a game? Or do you want the 7'2" son of an NBA player from Oregon who shoots 3-pointers and can dribble? That's just all I have to say before we even say anything else. Torrey Craig has played 96 minutes.
Who?
Torrey Craig. Look him up. He's played 96 minutes in 4 games. He scored 21 points. 2 of them, I think, were zeros. One of them was an 11-point game. I think it was a 4 and a 5 or something like that.
I don't even know him.
Torrey Craig.
Denver does have Noah Vonleh.
Yes.
They could put him in.
No. Torrey Craig. Now,
Well, Gary Harris, he's been hurt.
Gary Harris has been hurt.
He would normally be in there.
He's a starter.
Is
He's
Bobo
a
hurt
shooter.
again?
No.
I didn't see him last game.
He's perfectly healthy. He's not playing.
I'll give Bobo some minutes.
Andy, here's what he's done so far in this series. 2 DNPs. The second game he came in, he got 4 minutes, had 2 points. Now the third game when they got blown out, he got 9 minutes, had 11 points in 9 minutes. In those 9 minutes, he ended up being the third leading scorer on the team. So in his total minutes, he's got, I think, 13 minutes, 11 points. So almost a point a minute, okay? Torrey Craig, in 96 minutes, has 21 total points. That's a point every 4.5 minutes. I can't take it. I said before the series, and the reason it's driving me crazy, I picked Denver to win the title.
Ooh.
Because, and if I can go back on the video, my exact words were, Bobo is going to be the secret weapon and the Robert Ory of this team. Their starting lineup is solid. They can play with anybody starting. But every one of these teams needs someone to make some type of a difference, some type of something. And a 7'2" 3-point shooter that can dribble the fucking basketball is the difference maker. So Andy, they got beat by 2 points last night, right? If Torrey Craig had 0 points, if Bobo blocks 1 shot, it's tied. If he makes 1 layup, they win. Free Bobo. Hashtag free Bobo. I'm not the only one. I've been hitting out a bunch of Bobo stuff on the internet.
I made the coach mad.
Yes, I'm sure that that asshole made everybody. He don't say a word. This is my point. This is my tweet last night. Halftime, and the Nuggets have given up 64 points. Again, if your reason for Bo not playing is defense, You're giving up 130 a game.
What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. He might accidentally score 10. They give up 64 at halftime. Old Torrey Craig in 14 minutes had 2. Thanks for pitching in. Thanks for pitching in. How about the game before? Halftime. Bobo hadn't played a minute. The bitch, in 41 minutes, 2 points. Now, Andy, if I give Bobo 41 minutes, is he going to get more than 2?
Yeah, I bet we see some Bobo in the next game, but they're going to have to do something different.
If they don't, he's firing himself, isn't he? Is he not? Like, look at their lineup. Like I just don't. I don't get it. How stupid you sit there and got. Frick, let me back it up and find it. You're right. Gary Harris isn't there, so you need scoring.
Is Will Barton out as well? Was he usually scores?
He's not there. I don't know if he's out or didn't participate. I haven't heard that name at all. As you said that, Mike Malone. Just all right. So here's the one. So he made 2 changes to the start lineup last night. Andy took 2 starters out, and Bobo got the DMP. He took out Craig. And he took out Michael Porter Jr. out of the starting lineup. Porter Jr.'s replacement in 36 minutes was Jeremy Grant, got 12 points. Porter Jr. in 23 minutes got 9 points. Good job, Coach. Torrey Craig finally goes to the bench. 19 minutes, 2 points. Meanwhile, Bobo is sitting on the bench, picking his nose. Plumlee keeps getting 10 minutes a game.
33 points, 2 rebounds for Plumlee, 42 and Michael, 9, 4, and 1.
If you gave 28 minutes,
Monte Morris didn't give him much in his.
If you gave 28 minutes to Bobo instead of Craig and Plumlee, does he get more than 4 points and 3 boards?
Accidentally gets more than
like
any
shit.
of those guys.
Like, and these guys think I'm crazy on Saturday. I'm like, I've got to talk to somebody else.
I like Bobo. Every time I've seen him play, he's done what he needs to do. Rebounds, blocks. It knocks down a jumper. Hit a dunk on you.
20 minutes a game, Andy. I'm not asking to start him and play him 36 minutes and let him go one-on-one with Kawhi, but 20 minutes a game.
He needs 4 minutes a quarter.
If you need something off the bench, how is that not your something off the bench? Like, think about that. Man, we need scoring. We need a little defense. How about the 7'2" guy that shoots threes and blocks shots?
Get some energy.
God, yes. Every shot he makes, does the bench not go into crazy?
Yeah.
They love him. Everybody loves him. And it's one thing for him to get minutes and just suck, but every time they put him in, he balls out.
Yeah.
And then they give him nothing. Like, what are they waiting for, Andy? 5 years down the road, like we were talking about earlier. What are we waiting for? Because and to me, 7-footers, how many over 30-year-old 7-footers are good? As soon as they get 30, it's downhill. Shaq lasted because he's huge. Duncan lasted. He was in good shape. He's a swimmer. But how many? He never jumped anyway.
Yeah.
Like, Duncan ain't jumped. Me and you's jumped more than Duncan this year. But
speaking of not dunking, I saw Jokic.
Yes, he don't jump.
He said he has, since 2017, he has more triple doubles than he has dunks.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
He puts them in. Have you seen highlights of him? Like Jamal Murray last night had 50 and lost. Is that right?
Yep.
Shit. And to the only game they won, Mitchell had 57, and it was in overtime.
Yeah. Him and Mitchell's been going at it.
They could have been swept. They could have been swept, Andy, and I picked them to win it solely on the fact I thought Bobo was playing 20 minutes off the bench every night. Like that's the most perfect 6-man you can have. Can he block shots? Yes. Can he shoot threes? Yes. Can he dribble? Can he pass? Yes. But what are they saying? He's 21. Who cares? I mean, you're down 3-1.
Yeah, I bet he gets minutes this last game. They're going to try something different.
Let me ask you something. If the Jazz called, here's what would drive me crazy. If the Jazz called Denver right now and said, we'll trade for Bobo, can we have him? What would they say? No.
We need him.
We need him to sit over here on the bench and hold this warm-up suit up in the air. Like would they take like what teams will not play somebody and then wouldn't take a trade for him? I don't get it. You see, I mean, am I justified? Why in the hell are they not playing Bobo?
Yeah, every time I've seen Bobo play, he's produced.
All right, Andy, with everything how it is right now, Who are your finals picks going forward from today? Boston and Toronto will be playing.
Taking Boston.
Should be. I got Toronto in the finals against Denver. I need Toronto to hold on to save my Denver pick. Because Denver's got the worst coach. Shit.
It's hard to pick against LeBron and Giannis in the East and West.
You just said so. You got Boston over Toronto. You got Boston going to the finals over Giannis.
No, I think Bucks beat Boston.
You got Giannis and LeBron in the finals.
I just two best players, not counting Luka.
You know who I wish was in the tournament would have came back was Durant.
Everybody on the Nets, the Nets players, all their good players just I ain't going. And it's like, okay, don't go up.
Well, they scored 122 points in regulation without Durant and Kyrie.
Well, everybody they got there is playing for a job, you know. I mean, they played hard. They just not.
They fired it up.
Superstar. Three best players for the Nets sit at home like little babies. At least show up and cheer your teammates on.
Any other news and notes in the NBA that you want to touch on or talk about? I'm going to jump around a couple other sports just for fun and just for a few minutes at a time to wrap it up.
I think we beat the NBA horse to death here.
All right. NFL 77 positives were sent off to it to have retested. Every single one of them was a negative false positive.
There's been some Russian tests.
You mean like Russian? Russian. Let's see. That's Dolphins and Canes to allow fans playing deemed risky. What does that mean?
I guess
Miami.
That's my only thing for the NFL. I guess I'm going to have to pull for the Patriots this year so I can pull for Cam.
That's so sad. So you're more of a Cam fan than a Panthers fan?
I like the Panthers. I just want Cam to do well.
Oh my gosh.
Just want Cam to do well.
I don't even want to.
I wish Cam could win and the Patriots would lose if that was possible. Cam to be the MVP and for the Patriots to miss the playoffs.
Oh my God. That is a Cam Newton fan right there. That's exactly what they would wish for. We got to win us another MVP. MVP. Shit. Sean Alexander won MVP. The kicker for the Redskins won MVP one time. Did you know that?
Super Bowl?
No.
What?
Regular season.
Kicker?
Yeah. Redskins kicker. Ryan Mosley won MVP.
For a whole season?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
The Cleveland Browns, you ever heard of Brian Sipe?
Yeah.
He won the MVP. 79.
I know kicker for eligible for the MVP.
Oh, yeah. Player. He's a player. Most valuable, Andy. Come on. What's your other sports to go to? I'll kind of.
Baseball, I hadn't really been paying much attention.
Okay.
NASCAR, I think Kevin Harvick won again.
He did. He clinched the regular season title. It's basically him and Hamlin. Is what you're looking at. Logano's got a chance to run at it, I believe, and Keselowski, but those are your four that I would look at. As far as the NASCAR season goes, I'm a Jimmy Johnson fan, have been since his rookie season. It couldn't be any more shameful that his last season is this season with no fans.
Oh, yeah. He's actually run pretty well this year.
He's
just on the playoff cut.
He got knocked out yesterday. He's 7 points out. Remember, he lost a race for Corona, so there's your 30 points. And then he came in second in a race, and they docked all the points and was disqualified for a race for something being broke.
He could be in there easily.
He could be in there easy, but he's not. So we're going to Daytona this weekend, and you won't know where you're at until the race is over.
Yeah.
Like the last lap, because of the way people change positions, like you could lose 7 spots on the last lap. So I don't know. I think it's just not good. He lost it. Like I said, a race to Corona. He lost a race from his crew chief, and now you're sitting there and trying to get in. And I don't know. What's been most frustrating the last few years, and you saw it coming, and is Chevrolet's not been worth crap. And when Stewart Haas Racing switched to Ford from Chevy, you knew that, man, something. Because Tony Stewart drove Chevys, you knew something was going to be not right with that. And then the Chevys ain't done shit in in years. It's one of those things where you watch Harvick win, and you're like, put Johnson in that 4 car right now, he wins.
Same thing, yeah.
He wins.
Same guys win. NASCAR's getting a little hard to watch with the same guys just dominating every week. Same 5 or 6 guys.
Like I said, it's those 4.
And then there's 35 other guys fighting for 10 through.
Well, the good news is
40.
Kyle Busch hit one of them this year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For you folks that are not Kyle Busch
Only
fans.
good thing about 2020.
I have enjoyed. I'll say that watching him not win as much as I've enjoyed Jimmy not win as well. I mean, Andy, you, me, and Danica Patrick all have the same number of wins this year as Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson.
Feel like a champion. I'm a Truex fan. He's right there every week. He's got like 5 top 3s in a row and just can't get through.
See, and I'm sure you know that there's some guys you like, some guys you don't like, and then a lot of guys you just don't really care about. Truex was in my I don't really care about camp until I think it was last year, and I don't know if it was with Jimmy or someone else. Something happened, and ever since that, every time I've been watching, he bitches a lot.
Truex.
Yes. Now, not saying he's not a good driver or anything, but Kyle Busch blames his crew for everything. Truex bitches just at everyone. If you have wronged him in any way, shape, or form, whether you're the guy on the roof, you're the color commentator, it doesn't matter, Andy. He bitches about those people. And so to me, he's moved over into my
villain category.
I'm not that big of a fan of him because he just whines about a lot of stuff. Like, he's a good driver, but it's just, golly, like you'll never hear the things come out of his mouth, come out of Jimmy Johnson's mouth ever. And I know Jimmy's Mr. Squeaky Clean. He got that
Jimmy's
from Jeff.
sitting on 100 million and 7 championships.
Yeah.
He don't care anymore.
That win yesterday with Harvick, though, tied Kyle Busch for most wins in NASCAR. Now, Terry sits over here as a Kyle Busch fan and says that he has more wins than Richard Petty.
Says Kyle Busch does? What kind of math he doing?
He counts his Truck Series and his Xfinity Series races. Thank you. Look here, Andy. I want you to look in the and tell Terry Reinhart.
Terry Reinhart, those do not count.
That Babe Ruth don't get to count his minor league home runs. Yeah. He probably doesn't have any. I would say Ruth is sitting at 0 in minor league home runs. But nobody gets to count the minor leagues. And when he goes to the trucks, he's got the best equipment out there.
I don't even like the top guys driving in those series.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it does something for people to watch, but that's for the guys to get the younger guys to get better. It's not for Kyle Busch to go down and dominate. Right.
That's what's weird about it is that the fans, when people say, well, how do you get fans in the stands? I'm like, well, the fans won't know anybody if the only winners are the NASCAR guys. Yeah. You'll never know who the winners are because that's how you build a name. Like, I won 10 NASCAR Xfinity events.
Yeah, give me a shot.
But now these guys have to make this argument. I came in second 10 NASCAR events behind Kyle Busch.
You never hear my name, yeah.
And you haven't heard my name yet. And so how are they supposed to get the sponsorship backing if they can't win? And then I in baseball you go down to rehab. You go down to do other things. What if they had, and I know every driver's different, and what if it was more of on a rotation basis where you can do 5 races? That's it. You do 5 Xfinity, and then all the drivers at some point, like Jimmy hadn't raced in any of those. I don't know if he's ever raced a truck. But
that's fine if you want to send somebody down here and there to draw some TV races.
A sponsorship deal for, but like, I don't know, the guys that do it consistently, like Kyle, like he likes racing. While he's out there racing Xfinity, Jimmy's riding his mountain bike,
doing something else. 50
damn miles or whatever it is, or doing a triathlon on Saturdays. So some guys do other things. It's weird. I think them, like the XFL just got bought by Rock. They have to get into a situation where there's the revenue sharing needs to be a better situation. Like
that was a bad investment by the Rock.
I don't know. It's only $15 million because Vince paid. Think about this. Vince paid $150 million. To the rosters, I think were what's 50,000 times 45 basically is what is 2.5 million, somewhere around 2.3 million.
That was the salary.
That was the salary per team. If you do 50,000, so he basically bought the whole league for less than the salaries of all the teams. So as long as he does decent there. Put it this way, Dabo makes $9 million at Clemson a year. He could have bought. Think about this. He could have bought the XFL in 2 years coaching at Clemson, and paid 8 teams. He refuses to be a part of paying any of his players at Clemson. He makes enough money in 2 years to pay a whole league of 8 teams their salaries.
Don't know if that is ever going to catch on.
Here's where it will, and here's why at the same time. It's not that, and they've got to do 2 things. One, you don't go you don't compete with the NFL. You supply the NFL. So you go into the houses, and they announced before, and I don't know if The Rock will continue it, but they announced last year the plan was after this first year or 2, they're going to start letting 18, 19-year-olds play. Like, they don't have a 3-year out of college rule. So they're going to be going to these these number 1 recruits saying, hey,
Like the G League's doing?
well, if you're, yeah, exactly. And they've got, 4 or 5 players that have already come over on their team. And so if they would do that and concentrate on the guys, hey, you can go to Penn State, you can go play in the Citrus Bowl, or we can give you $50,000 a year. Think about it. If UNC Charlotte, I think, what's to it? You know, tuition app or UNC Charlotte. I think Charlotte was like $13,000 or something. So at Charlotte, for example, you play 1 year in the XFL at $50,000. You've made enough money to buy your whole education at Charlotte. So if they'll just have somebody sit down and do the math, then you can have your own agents at 18 and 19. So I don't know, the NCAA's got a lot of things with this name, image, and likeness thing to where if they don't do it right,
Might be the beginning of
the
end for-
XFL can sneak in and get, if they can get those guys, that's the ones, if they can start getting a quarterback here or someone there. If you're a running back, I would go to the XFL before I would college. Because you think about it, if you go to Alabama and the coach all of a sudden, for some reason, or we'll just name a school, Missouri or whatever, and say the coaches don't like you or likes another guy, and you just sit there, and you got prime years going through at
You
running
be
backs.
at Alabama behind 3 other NFL running backs.
Exactly.
Never see the field.
And I don't know. To me, I think there's going to be, it depends on the monetary situation. Like if think about it, what if you're a kid, let's say like Randy Moss or Terrell Owens, who obviously had talent
With some baggage.
Yeah, they went to UT Chattanooga and Marshall, and they didn't go to these big schools. Savannah State, those guys, the types of those super athletes that don't have the grades. I know they're waiving the grades this year and the SAT scores this year. The coaches are trying to get to that. They really care about the academics. Let's waive the SAT scores. But those type of guys, or if you've been in trouble with the law or something that the schools wouldn't look at, those type of guys I think could feed into it if done right. Like you just got to do it right. You don't go in thinking, Terry sits here and is like, they're competing with the NFL, it'll never happen. I'm like, yeah, but that's not the idea. Baseball has, how many minor leagues do they have?
Ton.
And that's just under baseball. That's not even counting the independent leagues, the Gastonia leagues, the other leagues. So hundreds and hundreds of baseball. But if you don't make an NFL roster, then what do you do?
Done.
So to me, there's got to be some type of a middle man where you can make 40, 50,000 playing football, you would think, or you'd hope. That's what I like about it. All right, Clemson's number 1 in the preseason poll. Let's see if North Carolina ended up in there. So stupid. Not App State. Explain that one.
App State's not in the top 25.
And North Carolina is.
Did we lose our?
I don't care who we lost. We kicked their ass last year, Andy. Kicked their ass
Do we still
in
got our
Chapel
quarterback?
Hill.
We still got our quarterback.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know.
I can't speak.
I don't know.
Intelligently about Appalachian State football.
All I'm saying is that we kicked their ass and South Carolina's asses last year, and
I didn't see Sage was sitting out this year.
yeah,
That's probably a smart move.
I don't. All right, so he's ranked 8th
Overall, or eighth
wide receiver. Wide receiver. Chaz is ranked 4th.
Linebacker.
Yes.
And that's their first or second round guys. I'd sit out too probably.
Well, if you're 8th, and yeah, I think he was 54th, and Chaz was like 44th. Was the ranking? So yeah, they're second, third round picks. Like Hunter says, Chaz has to play, and I'm like,
Does he?
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
If you're already second or third,
Yeah.
and this is what I always said about him playing quarterback. If he'd went to Duke, he'd still be a quarterback. That's where he originally went. Not this Mac Brown situation bringing in Sam Howell. I always said if he got the chance to make it to the combine as a quarterback, someone is going to love him. You look at when they used to show the pictures of the Carolina quarterbacks, you'd see 3 guys looked exactly the same, and then 6'3", 230 can run a 4.4 lefty. What do scouts do at these combines? They fall in love with these guys. How many guys get drafted? I never heard of Josh Allen until we were talking draft. How many guys get drafted or looked at based on their arm or their speed or their size? Have you? I'll pull this up. This one. This is what I like to. One little thing on him. The game against Louisville, North Carolina football. How many years ago was that? Probably when he was still quarterback. 3. 2000. Should I put 18 or 17? We'll go 17. Let's go 17. Well, I don't know, folks. We're about to end it up here, but this he'd be quarterback at 100 other colleges, and he just a terrible situation here as far as North Carolina. They ruined Ronald Curry too. He at least went to wide receiver. Hey, if I think Chaz would do great at any position they put him at. It's just Luke Kuechly made $53 million his whole career, and people can say he's one of the best ever, and in his whole career, full of concussions, only $53 million. Chase McDaniel, the backup quarterback, I can't remember where he's at, makes $10 million a year.
Yeah, just to never get touched, to never get.
Well, it's a way better job.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. He at linebacker getting hit by 300-pound men every play.
Backup quarterback is one of the greatest jobs in America.
It might be the. Starting quarterback's probably the if you're good and not people hating on you.
The risk reward ratio is pretty high.
Yeah. So here's your stats. Lamar Jackson, of course, destroyed our defense, or not our defense. I'm an Appalachian State fan. Sorry about that. Lamar Jackson, 25 of 39, 393, and 3 touchdowns. Get that up there. Harris and Chaz split. And here's just Chaz's numbers. Andy, close your eyes. This is versus the NFL MVP. He was 12 of 14, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. 12 of 14, 168, 2 touchdowns.
What was his overall quarterbacks? I know he didn't get to play a lot of quarterback.
His overall quarterback numbers were close to the same as Sam Howell's was his freshman year when you add them all together. Because remember, he didn't play a full season.
One year he got to play quarterback, they were terrible.
Yeah, and the year they took him out,
because they just had to run for his life the whole time.
The offensive line was awful. The week they took him out, you know what the coach's comments were on the backup while he got to play? I can't make this up if I wanted to, Andy. He said, and I quote, "He looked good this week against the practice squad." Now Chaz comes back off a sprained ankle. He's ready. He says he's ready, and they play the other guy. It might have been that guy that said, "Oh no, never mind." I pinned that tweet to this tweet has been pinned to the top of my page since it happened for that day. October 15th, 2017. Inside of Carolina's Greg Barnes reports that Virginia, this is the game that they set Chaz. Virginia has more interception return yards than Carolina has passing yards. That's the game that Chaz got benched, and that's been at the top of my profile since. Is that he was benched because that guy looked good in scouting.
Chaz never really got a fair
shot. Not even close.
Good team. Well, they lost 15 out of 22 starters that year. It was something ridiculous.
Bad. Freshman year had 9 starts. He was 58.5%. That's Cam Newton territory. I mean, was what we talked about here, right? 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His rating was 131. Like, that's not.
Yeah, that's.
What happened was they hired Mac Brown. They fired the guy that went there. So Chaz originally was going to Duke. David Cutcliffe going to play. If you remember, he changed, and a lot of it was about he has to change of heart. He wanted to be a Tar Heel. To me, that was the most important thing to him. It seems like to me, because remember originally it was Harvard and Yale or something like that, and then it turned into Duke and Carolina, and then he said he was going to Duke, and then it turned into that's not my heart. I'm a Tar Heel. I want to be a Tar Heel. So him wanting to be a Tar Heel so bad, then Mac Brown comes in.
Wants to bring in his own
Mac
guys.
brings in his, and to me, think about this though. He brings in a freshman quarterback, and he still got beat by Appalachian State at home. If Chaz is quarterback, do they still get beat? Maybe. But I tell you what wouldn't have happened. if Chaz was quarterback on that last play against Clemson, does he get in the score? Remember, they brought in a freshman quarterback, a passing quarterback, passer, to replace the running quarterback, and then they called a freaking option at the line to beat Clemson with the passing quarterback.
I'd give Chaz a better chance to get in on that one.
Holy, that one I was like, that's what y'all deserve right there. You just called an option. It's not like you let him throw the ball. They called an option with the passing quarterback. But 131 rating, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks, 58%. And then he comes in, Mac Brown says, I'm bringing this guy in. Chaz can transfer and play somewhere else or stay there and change positions. And he stayed and changed positions instead of going somewhere else. I would, to me, if you can play quarterback, you play as long as till you're forced to. And to me, it turned into I want to be a Tar Heel. And that's fine if he makes it. That's great, absolutely. But I think he could have possibly lost $100 million if you stay quarterback.
I think Chaz is going to be all right.
Yeah.
Chaz is going to be all right.
So like I said, he's ranked 4th. Sage is 8th in those. So, all right, there we go. There's your the Chaz versus the MVP. How about this, Andy? Me, you, Tim Tebow, Squeaky. I'll have more playoff wins combined than Lamar Jackson does.
Lamar's time's coming. He's going.
You, me, and Tim Tebow have more wins than Lamar Jackson.
He's going
in
to
the
be
playoffs.
all right. He probably ends up with more than us.
Tebow's got 1. Dak's only got 2. Prescott's only got 2. So, all right. Anything else, Andy?
I think I've said my piece for today.
All right, buddy. Wednesday, Hunter should be back, folks. I think cousin Zach will be in here as well. Bucks and Magic have started. It's 12-7 Bucks over Magic. Clemson, I said, take the 1 spot in the poll. Baseball. Are you a fan of anybody?
I haven't watched baseball in a long time. I'm a fan of baseball cards. That's about it. Speaking of which, a Mike Trout sold for $3.9 million. Mike Trout card. It's ridiculous. If anybody cares out there.
I would almost try to get Trout cards just to sell them because just how stupid people are right now. You can get a King Griffey Jr. card for like $40, but Mike Trout.
$3.9 million for that card.
Well, Andy, I'm glad you brought him up because you know why?
He had a home run already.
No, his team is the worst record in the American League.
How's he doing though? He's probably killing it.
Not shit. Obviously, his team's got the worst record in baseball.
He can't pitch too.
He's 8th on his team in doubles.
Losing that speed.
He might be first in home runs, but he's 8th on his team in doubles. 8th, Andy, on his team in doubles.
Let me see what he's doing.
Pujols has 3 doubles, Andy. Mike Trout has 1.
Pujols is a goat.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Appreciate it. 3 doubles. Pujols does.
10 home runs.
He is 1 home run, also short of
Got 1 steal.
of Willie Mays.
Pujols.
Fletcher, La Stella, Goodwin, Ohtani, Castro, Rendon, and Pujols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys on his own team have more doubles than Mike Trout. He's a decent ball player. He's not the fucking goat.
Pujols is a goat.
I think so.
Trout's trying to get there.
All right, Andy, say goodbye to the folks and thanks for joining us today or jumping on.
Enjoyed it.
Let's see.
Jake,
Jake got on there. See, Jake, I don't know what it says. No
Jake
ball.
Jake wants Wiseman.
Hey, I take Wiseman. I don't want no fucking centers. Oh, no ball is on LaMelo. Got you. Nah, I'm done with the centers. Fuck the centers. All right, Andy, you want to say goodbye to everybody as I play the music?
Goodbye, everybody. I will be back next time. Kevin needs bodies.
Andy, you can come anytime you want. I mean, really. Mondays and Wednesdays. I know you don't want to get up Saturday at 8 o'clock.
No, sir.
But you come in Mondays and Wednesdays anytime you want.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank everybody tuning in today. NBA talk, lottery, playoffs, and more. Wednesday, we'll go over more baseball. Hunter will want to talk Braves. We'll talk NASCAR, college football, and any other announcements we have. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. KTCBroadcasting.com.